lounging, son.
Welcome back to the Comic Lounge. My name is Ryan, and today I'm going to be going through another fantastic DC Comics facsimile reprint, and that is of Flash 123. This is one of my holy grails of comic books that I want to own one day. I want to own the original, but for now, I got the $4 reprint, and I'm more than satisfied owning this. I absolutely love what DC's been doing with their facsimiles. I think that their reprints are so much better, I think, than the Marvel ones, because they print on a non-glossy paper. It's, on a newsprint, so the colors are not as garish as they are when you print these old like the way they were colored in the Silver Age, and then you put them on the stark white paper. It just doesn't sit right with me. Flash is one of my favorite characters. Wally West Flash was my Flash. That was the first comic book I ever got. So the character of Flash, the mythos, the entire Flash family is my favorite in comic books. So of course this is going to be one of my grails, because this is one of the most important Flash issues, one of the most important DC Comics issues, because this is the issue where, as the story tells you, it's the Flash of two worlds. It's where the Silver Age characters that were created, which first appeared in Showcase number 4, which was also the first appearance of Barry Allen. But this is where DC kind of reinvented their, some of their flagship characters for a new age. New character, same name, but new characters behind those costumes, new costumes. So we had like Hal Jordan, Green Lantern came about, right? We had a new Hawkman. All these characters that were so popular in the Golden Age were now reinvented. And this is the first time that the Silver Age character and a Golden Age character meet. It's the meeting of two worlds, which means it's Earth 1 and Earth 2 meeting. Earth 1 being where Barry Allen is from, and Earth 2 being where Jay Garrick is from. And, by Gardner Fox and Carmine Infantino are the creative team of this book, even though it's not stated here. I know who the creative team is. And also have to mention Julius Schwartz, the editor and brainchild of redoing some of these, classic heroes for, a new audience. A lot of these characters had more of a science science bent origin, more so than, in the past. But I love this issue, and I just wanted to kind of flip through it and show it off. I love this too. How many Flashes are there? 1, 2? Is Barry Allen the real Flash, or is Jay Garrick? Does the Flash live in Central City or Keystone City? So I just think it's interesting because, for Barry, he grew up reading the adventures of Jay Garrick the Flash. So that's where he got his inspiration to become the superhero and have his name be the Flash after he got his powers. But now we're going to see that they're not just stories you read about, that there was another Earth, and this is where the concept really of the multiverse starts. So, we come in, and Barry's, once again, he's late for Iris. He's supposed to be, he's supposed to appear as the Flash, so he darts out and comes right back in. And as he's doing it, and we got this cool little thing where he's playing tennis with himself and showing off his powers, and throws a rope up in the air and shakes it so fast that it tends to stand and it's floating there. But as he's doing it and his body is vibrating, he disappears. And this is where we learn that when Flash moves at a certain speed and he vibrates his molecules at a specific speed, he can transport to different Earths, because all these Earths live on a different plane. So he's literally just transporting himself from one plane of existence to another. He doesn't even realize what's going on, so he runs and he sees where the community center should be, but it's abandoned. Then he goes and he sees it's the Keystone City Herald, and he's like, he doesn't understand where he is. So he's going to, check a little further to see what's going on. He immediately gets the idea to look in the phone book, and he looks up Jay Garrick, and he can't even believe it. He's like, there's no way, right? No way this can be true. So he throws his costume on. So he shoots his costume back into his ring, and he goes to the address, and sure as shit, it's Jay Garrick, but he's a little bit older. So he goes in, he introduces himself, and he's like, oh man, that's Joan Williams, your girlfriend. Like, well, no, now she's my wife. So he wants to ask a few questions about what happened when Jay was working in a lab. So he knows the whole origin of Jay Garrick and how he became the Flash, and he says it to Jay, and he's like, so obviously Jay's, how could he know that? That's impossible. So then he shows him, and this is where he explains how he got his powers too. And then the theory of the two Earths is introduced. Even so much as saying how, like, on his, it was destiny to have a Flash on each Earth. And he tells him his origin and how he got his powers. And then that's what he talks about, how he read his adventures as a kid, and that's what inspired him to don the identity of the Flash. Even so much as saying, like, you were well known in my world as a fictional character appearing in Flash comics, which was the original title of the Jay Garrick run in the Golden Age. It's just so cool because, like, now, imagining like if us as comic book fans, we're reading the adventures of these characters, right? And then to find out that they really do exist on another Earth, and that the creatives that write these comic books aren't really coming up with their own. It's like them dreaming of these other worlds and being connected. So it's such a cool concept to kind of play on, and getting to see them team up is really cool. You get some of these things that are the best things about reading these facsimiles are that we get to see exactly how they were produced back then, with the ads, with everything. So you're getting to see these fastest trips around the world, just facts about real facts about the speed records and stuff like that, and getting to see those, and the ads for, like, Superman Secret Origins. And we see now some of Jay's villains are who they're going to go up against, because obviously they are on Earth 2. And so we get the Thinker, we get the Fiddler, we get the Shade, and for Barry to be able to team up with his childhood hero, it's awesome, right? Like, he gets to, now he's going against these villains, so he knows how to defeat them. And a lot of this is, like, very science bent. That's why you have the Flash facts that Julie Schwartz would put in here. I love seeing these old ads too. It's just awesome. We get flashgrams, we got the letters pages. Then we get the iconic images, same on the cover, where they're both running to save this guy with this steel girder that's about to crush him. And Jay's just a tad faster to save the guy. And then Barry uses his powers to kind of shoot them up, or make the girder fly back where it fell. And some of these Golden Age villains, you could call them corny, but I mean, obviously Thinker comes back in more modern day comic books. The Shade becomes a huge part of the DC universe moving forward, especially like him being in the Starman book by James Robinson and Tony Harris. Fiddler kind of falls to the wayside. He doesn't really have lasting power, but Thinker and Shade definitely both become mainstays. And as the villains, they think they got Jay and Barry trapped under the Fiddler's trance. They tricked them, and they systematically take all of them out. And then Barry says he's going to vibrate, that now it's time for him to go home. And he even inspires Jay to come out of retirement. So eventually there will be more, Earth 2 stories, and there's going to be Earth 1 and Earth 2 meeting up. And eventually, like, there's other Earths that are introduced. And that is what the Crisis on Infinite Earths eventually kind of pushes that to the wayside and rewrites the history so that, they all existed on the same plane. But it's just so awesome to be able to see this. And even so much as here, like this last panel where he's like, the only ones who'd really believe it would be the readers of Flash comics. That's why I'm going to look up Gardner Fox, who wrote the original Flash stories, and tell it to him. He can write the whole thing up in a comic book. Just a cool little way to end it. That's what I love about Silver Age stories. A lot of one and dones, a lot of, definitely a product of their time, but they're so much fun to go back and revisit, to see where comics were, and then to follow, to see where they've, how far they've come. What a great classic comic. I'm so happy DC's been putting out so many of these. They got so many that they've announced. I don't know that I'll go through all of them, but I do have plans to go through quite a bit. Some of the ones that really stick out to me that, or some of my favorite, old comics. If you get a chance, go pick this up. It's a fun book. Make sure you check out the other facsimiles that they're doing. Maybe you can pick and choose, like I said, of what I want to do on the channel. Like, maybe maybe this isn't your favorite, but definitely worth checking out to see what DC has been doing, because they are great. And make sure you stay tuned. We're going to be doing some more facsimile vids on here. Make sure you follow us on all social media. Our links are down below. Hit the bell icon. Subscribe button so you're notified every time a new video drops. And on that note, I'm out.